Hi everybody, this is Susan with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell for you today, and being a Friday video, it's a case card. So, case, copy and selectively edit. So this card sample was actually provided to me by my upline a few weeks ago, and I have all the measurements to share with you. And something I've decided to do is I'm going to incorporate sketch challenge in my monthly show and tell newsletter for those of you who subscribe to my newsletter. So if you want to subscribe and get in on this, the link is below, and it's totally free. And this challenge, you can use anything you have in your Stampin' Up stash. So it can be current, it can be retired, whatever you have. All you need to do is use the sketch provided to create a card, snap a photo, and then send it to me to share on the newsletter. And at the end of the month, I'm going to do a drawing for all of you creative stampers out there for some fun Stampin' Up bling. So let's go ahead and get started with today's demonstration. So I've already sketched this out on my grid sheet. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it a little better. So patience while I do that for you. And I have a link below that's going to have all the photos, this sketch, details, and the samples on it for you. So if you need it more concrete, where you want to print it out or you want to view it again, you can find that link below. So this card told me that the base was 5.5 by 8.5, so that's a standard card size. Okay. Then the mat, okay, the piece that's going to hold all of our designer series paper, is 4.25 by 3.25. And then we have 4 strips at 1 by 3. Okay, this card used designer series paper to do that. But if you didn't have designer series paper, you could always stamp on cardstock and create your own pattern paper to do that. And then we have some sort of tag embellishment in the center, some coordinating ribbon or cardstock, whatever you want to use, and then whatever else you want to add or change to the sketch. Okay. So this is the basic sketch. You can alter it to be creative in your own way, however you want. Okay, so this last week or so I was creating Easter cards for the local flower shop, and so I was going through lots of my retired papers and lots of my current papers, finding some fun papers. And you probably noticed that our 12 by 12 designer series paper, we often cut it down to 4.25 by 5.5 because that's our standard card front, or smaller. And a lot of times we end up with 1-inch strips. So I don't know, maybe you throw them out. A lot of times I use them on the inside of my card for a little extra decorative, but this is a great sketch to use up those 1-inch strips, right? So I'm going to zoom back out and I'm going to show you the first card that I have cut the pieces for and put it together for you. This paper came out of the Occasions catalog in 2018. And right now I'm going to make the card on black, so I have my card base on black. I have powder pink, which is a coordinating color for the designer series papers. And looking for my adhesive on the table behind me, thankfully. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut 4 pieces or stamp 4 pieces of cardstock that are 1 by 3. Then you're going to cut your coordinating piece of mount, okay, at 3.25 by 4.25. Then we're just going to put these down on our mount. So add a little snail or adhesive that you like to use. Now, if you look at my sketch, you'll notice that there's 1/8 of an inch border all the way around those 4 pieces that go on. So when you start putting your pieces down, try to keep an even framing, and that'll help you line up your pieces in the center. And then you're just going to stick them right next to each other. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, just like that. Okay, so we've got our mount and our 4 pieces, and I've got my base. Then I had some powder pink ribbon, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that across the center, and put some snail down, and then I just wrap my ribbon around and tack it on the back. See? Just tack that right on the back. Now you could pop that up on dimensionals if you want to. I'm going to snail it down today. So I'm just going to put that centered. So with this card case, you've got about a 1/2 inch border all the way around. Okay. Then I used the new tailored tag punch, and I used a stamp from the Label Me Pretty stamp set. And I stamped "You're the Best" on one and punched that out with our tailored tag on powder pink. And then I have another one in black. And what I'm going to do with the black one is I'm going to cut it in half with this so you can see. So I'm going to cut it in half this way. I do this with a lot of my punches. And then just go ahead and put some adhesive on the back of your tag and just layer it. So you're going to expand the tag up and down to create it a little larger and basically creating a mount for your tag. It's pretty easy, huh? And then that goes right on. This time I'm going to use dimensionals. Pop this up a little bit. And just like that, I've cased the card. Okay? So like I was saying, I create cards for the local florist. I think I've said that before. And so recently I was making cards for Easter to take down to the shop, and when I do that I go through lots of my retired papers because that's the best time to use them, when I'm not trying to use them at a party and make a sale. Not that sales is my big initiative for what I do. I love stamping and sharing stamps with people, so, but I always end up with a ton of retired paper. So I went through my scraps and I found this paper. I had actually at one point dry embossed a piece of this peach parfait, I think it is. Yep, this is from In Colors many years ago. So I had this piece, and then I found designer series paper, right, those 1-inch strips that coordinated nicely, so I have those. So I cut those down to size. Now I didn't have this secondary color, but I found another piece of designer series paper, so I cut that down for my mount. I've had this spool of peach parfait ribbon forever, so I always try to use that when I can. So I have that, and then this time I punched the tag out using the Pretty Label Punch that is coordinated with the Label Me Pretty set. So I've made all the pieces, so let's go ahead and put this one together real quick. So maybe I got lucky in finding the pieces that would coordinate. I kind of try to keep my In Color retired paper in a pouch all together. So that helps me when I'm going to use a piece of designer series paper, find coordinating cardstock, even if it's just for a tag. Sometimes I don't have full sheets of the cardstock left, but I'll have scrap, and so I can make tags or paper ribbons out of them. So this time I'm going to create a mount on the front of my card because I had a piece of that peach parfait. Okay, then we're going to do the mount on the inside, so let me flip these 4 pieces over. Really, you could use either side of these, but I'm going to use the ones I decided on. So just add some adhesive, and then the same idea, right? We're going to go with 1/8 of an inch framing. And just put those right side by side. Okay, I'm going to add my ribbon the same way. Wrap it around the back. I'll put my snail on this while I've got it flipped over. So I just put my peach parfait ribbon around, tack it. Get off this extra piece. This ribbon is pretty thick, so I don't want too much bulk on my card. Alright, so there's our mount, our designer series paper, and our ribbon. You could use paper strip there too as a paper ribbon. So don't feel like you have to have a ribbon. You can use paper ribbon. Alright, so all that's down. I'm going to flip it over and give that a good press because that's got a lot of height to it. Okay, so then I've got my same thing. I've made my tags ahead of time. I'm going to put this one on a dimensional, and then I'm going to put that in the center of my stamped label. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut this one in half. Alright, flip this one over, add some adhesive, and then I just layer it onto my halves to expand it up a little bit. Okay, and then that's going to go right on the center of my card. So, quick, easy sketch. If you get my card candy kits, you could use it for that idea. Go right ahead. Or pull out some of that paper, your favorite papers and colors, and create a sketch all of your own. So, these are my 2 samples for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it made sense. So I was given a picture of a card with its measurements. I then went to my grid paper and created the sketch so I could see how it would work out. Okay, and don't feel like because you have a sketch you have to stick to those shapes and sizes. You can alter it a little bit. So my first sample I did here, which was pretty basic, straightforward copy, but I used a black card instead of a white card. So use any colors you want. And then on my second one that I did, I actually added another mount because I had a piece coordinated, and then created the sketch on the inside that was very similar to what we started with. So again, you guys can subscribe to my Show and Tell newsletter. It comes out every Tuesday. I do a card candy challenge, which goes out to everybody who shops with me. And now I'm doing this case sketch challenge, which anyone can participate in as long as you subscribe to the Show and Tell newsletter. And I give away some free stuff at the end of the month, just for stamping and sharing. So it's a pretty easy thing to do if you just love stamping and sharing. Alright everybody, that is it for my Friday video. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend and do some fun stamping. Alright, bye-bye.